Okay. Okay, students. Good morning to all of you. So, in previous class, we discussed about Gauss law, and let us prove it. Okay. Let us see proof of Gauss law. So, what is the statement of Gauss law, Nana? Yes. Good morning. Good morning to all of you. Good morning, students. Yeah. See, according to Gauss law, it states that magnetic flux through a closed Gaussian loop is equal to, sorry, electric flux through a Gaussian loop is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times of total charge enclosed within that Gaussian surface. Clear? Or it can be written as, this phi can be written as surface integral of E bar dot ds bar. E bar dot ds bar is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times of charge enclosed within the surface. Clear? Yes, this is Gauss law. Let us prove this. Any one of this. Let us prove this one. Because both are same only. Clear, students? Yes. Now further, let us consider a point charge Q. Okay. Now, around this point charge Q, let us draw one Gaussian surface. Let us draw one Gaussian surface at a particular distance of r. By considering this distance as r, let us draw one Gaussian surface. The Gaussian surface, I am drawing a spherical Gaussian surface. So choosing the Gaussian surfaces depends upon you. How you will choose? That is the important point. Clear, students? Yes. So let us imagine this spherical surface is a Gaussian surface. Now, due to this charge Q at a distance of r at this point P, what will be the electric field, Nana? Yes, as you know, electric field at point P is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R square, as you know this one. Clear? Are you getting? And what will be the direction of this electric field, Nana? Yes, electric field direction is in this direction. Electric field direction is in this direction, that is in the direction of R cap. R cap is a unit vector pointing outward from positive charge Q. So if you want direction, yes, this will be the electric field with the direction. Clear? Now let us consider at this point B a small Gaussian surface, elementary Gaussian surface. That Gaussian surface, I am choosing it like this. This Gaussian surface I am choosing at a distance of r. Clear enough? Yes. See this Gaussian surface. Okay, small elementary Gaussian surface I am choosing. Okay, this total Gaussian surface if you expand it. Are you getting? This three-dimensional view I am showing you. This point. It will be like this. If you expand it, it will become total spherical surface. Are you getting? Yes. See, this small Gaussian surface is having area of ds. And area vector of this one will be perpendicular pointing outward. It will be like this. ds bar, Gaussian surface. Clear, students? Yes. Now, let us find the flux through this Gaussian surface. What will be the flux through this Gaussian surface? That will be equal to surface integral of E bar dot ds bar, as you know, electric flux definition. Is it? Abhay is saying a poor network from my side. Is it? School, this college network is this is disconnecting again and again. That's why I'm using my mobile network. What to do? Shall I shift this network to school network, college network? Okay, wait. I'll do that. Yes. Wait, students. This is very headache. Beeps. Now check network bar. Now you check. What happened? That is what I am doing. Simply disturbed unnecessarily. Yes, students. So I want electric flux. That definition can be written as surface integral of E bar dot ds bar. Okay. Yes. It is a dot product. See here, E bar and ds bar both are parallel to each other. Since E bar is parallel to ds bar, that implies theta between these two is 0 degrees. Then what happened, Anna? E bar dot ds bar will become E ds cos theta. That is nothing but E ds cos 0 is 1. Means electric flux will become phi is equal to surface integral of E into ds. As this E is a constant at this point at a distance of r, that is 1 by 4 pi epsilon q by r square. So we can take it outside. Into E into surface integral of ds. What is E value? It is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square. This is E value, electric field at that point P. And what will be the integration of this closed surface? Total surface area how much? This is spherical surface, total Gaussian surface, expanded the small area ds. So total integration of ds I want. Integration of ds is nothing but total spherical surface area. How much? Is 4 pi r square. 4 pi r square. So electric flux, it comes out to be 4 pi cancel, r square cancel. What will you get? You will get 2 by epsilon naught. What is this Q? Q is charge enclosed within this Gaussian surface. Yes, it is the proof. Clear? Yeah, students, they may ask you state and prove Gauss theorem in electrostatics. First, you need to write Gauss theorem statement, Gauss law statement, and you need to write the proof. I hope you understand the proof. So from this point, only I am getting this proof. Got it? How many of you understand this point? Nishal. Nishal is asking me one question, that is, sir, ds is equal to q by r square. No. ds is small elementary area. Integration of ds is 4 pi r square. Yes, see here, this is 4 pi r square. Integration of ds is 4 pi r square. This is electric field. 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square is the electric field. So electric field into integration of ds, total surface area is 4 pi r square. So this 4 pi r square, this 4 pi r square cancel, you will have q by epsilon naught. So according to Gauss law, total electric flux through a Gaussian surface is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times of charge enclosed within this Gaussian surface. Yes, this is the proof. Proof of Gauss law. Clear? And this proof we have Consider for a spherical Gaussian surface. If you consider any shape of the Gaussian surface, then also you'll get same proof. And this proof is valid for any shape of Gaussian surface. You need to remember this point. But only important point while considering the Gaussian surface, to get that required electric field is you need to consider a Gaussian surface in such a manner that electric field at each and every point on that Gaussian surface should be equal in magnitude, and direction of electric field and ds vector both should be in parallel direction. Okay, thus 2 points you need to remember in mind while you are taking a Gaussian surface. Clear? Yes. See, from this Gauss law, we can derive Coulomb's law also. Wherever Coulomb's law is obeying, we can use Gauss law also. Means we can derive Coulomb's law. That is, we have force between two charges. F is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Q1, Q2 by R square. Proof is there, no? That proof we can derive from Gauss law also. See, Coulomb's law from Gauss law. How we will get? Let us suppose. Yeah, this is the point we are discussing now. Let us suppose here two charges are there, Q1 and Q2. Two charges are there, and these two charges are separated by distance r. Let us suppose. Clear? Yes. What will be the force between these two charges, Nana? As you know, force between these two charges is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R square according to Coulomb's law. Let us prove this one by using Gauss law. Okay? Yes. First, what I am doing is, due to charge Q1 at a distance of r, that is at point with charge Q2, what will be the electric field? Due to charge Q1 at a distance of r, electric field is, let us imagine E electric field is there, or E1 electric field is there. Now, due to this electric field E1, a force will act on charge Q2. How much force will act? As you know, force acting on a charge Q2 is nothing but Q into electric field. So the charge is Q2, and the charge Q2, how much force is acting? That is Q2 into electric field due to charge Q1. This is the force acting on a charged particle Q2 due to a charge Q1. Clear? Yes. So if you will get electric field E, you will get this answer. Okay? And to get this electric field E, I am using Gauss law. Now what I am doing is, let us consider a Gaussian surface. Yes, let us consider one Gaussian surface like this. Let us suppose this is a Gaussian surface. Okay? Yes. F is equal to Q2 into E. Equation number 1, let us call. This is a one Gaussian surface. Now, this Gaussian surface encloses a charge Q1. Q2 is just outside this Gaussian surface, imagine. Q2 is just outside of this Gaussian surface, imagine here. Here is Q2. Clear? Now, this Gaussian surface encloses charge of Q1. Now, according to Gauss law, surface integral of electric field over a closed surface is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times of charge enclosed within the surface, that is Q1. Okay? Yes. See here, I have considered this Gaussian spherical surface such that each and every point on that spherical surface is at equal distance, that is radius. Then, due to the charge Q, at each and every point, electric field will be constant. First point is satisfied. Second point, C, due to charge Q1, this is positive charge, electric field will be points radially outward in all directions. At the same time, if you consider a small Gaussian surface, like a small Gaussian surface, ds Gaussian surface you consider, this Gaussian surface area vector will be in this direction, points vertically outward, radially outward, like this it will go. And as you know, electric field direction is also in the same direction, so both are in parallel direction. Okay, second point also satisfied. If you take a spherical Gaussian surface, yes. So what will be the theta angle between these two? 0 theta angle. Theta angle is 0 degrees. So you can write surface integral of E ds cos 0 is equal to q1 by epsilon naught. Are you getting? Because of this dot product, I am writing E ds cos theta. Theta is 0. Cos 0 is 1. So you can write surface integral of E ds is equal to q1 by epsilon naught. As just now I told you that at each and every point on that Gaussian surface, electric field is constant. Means this E value under this integration is constant. So if any constant value is there in integration, we can take it outside. Okay. So integration of ds, integration electric field outside into surface integral of ds is equal to q1 by epsilon naught. Now E into what is this total spherical surface area, radius is r, that is 4 pi r square is equal to q1 by epsilon naught. Now this 4 pi r square send that side, you will get E is equal to 1 by 4 pi r square q1 by epsilon naught. q1 by epsilon naught. Are you getting? Yes. Now this we can write like this: 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 by r square we can write, right? Yes. These two positions have interchanged. Now this is the electric field E at a distance of r at a charge q2 due to charge q1. Now how much force will act? Substitute this E value in equation 1. You will get force acting on the charge particle is F is equal to q2 into E. Yes. q2 into E value 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 by r square. Now this we can write it as 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 by r square. Yes, this is the Coulomb's law. Force acting on two charged particles. Okay. Students, from my side board is very clear. I think so it may be my network problem or your network problem, but better you see recorded video. However, we will send recorded video, no? In that video, initially saying it is clear, sir. That means it may be your network problem. Okay, unnecessarily don't send messages. If you are not understanding, that time you raise hand or something message you send. Board not clear, sir. Like that you don't send messages. Did you understand how to derive Coulomb law from Gauss law? Everything is clear. Good. Okay. Yes. Now let us see some applications of this Gauss law. Gauss law means, I think you have clear idea now. Why we will use Gauss law? Main thing is to find electric field. Where it is difficult to find electric field by using Coulomb's law, at that places we can use Gauss law. It will give you very simple solution. Okay. Yes. Now applications are very important. Applications of Gauss law. See, they are important for your board exam and the proofs, values, formulas. What you will get, that will be important for your competitive exams. Okay. Yeah. See, first one application is electric field due to line charge. Due to a line of charge, how much electric field will be there at one particular distance? Okay, let us consider we are having a line of charges. Charge is uniformly distributed over this line, and imagine this line is of infinite length. Infinite length is not possible, but you consider it in comparison to other thing, this length will be infinite. Imagine like that. Okay, and length of this L, length of this rod is of length L. Clear enough? Over this total length L, a charge Q is, how much charge is there? Imagine Q charge is there, and that Q charge is uniformly distributed over this total length. Okay. Now from this line charge, from this line of charge, from this line, from this rod, or you can take at a distance of r. Here at the distance r, at this point P, we want electric field. What will be the electric field at point P due to this line charge? Okay, this we need to find. Okay, so how to find, sir? You can use Coulomb's law or principle of superposition due to electric field, due to charges. Anything you can use, but better if you use Gauss law, then you will get in very simple manner, you will get the solution. Yes, how to use? So whenever you want to use Gauss law, first and foremost thing what you need to do is you need to consider Gaussian surface. And while considering the Gaussian surface, you should remember 2 points. One is at each and every point on the Gaussian surface, electric field should be equal. And second point is electric field direction and Gaussian surface area vector direction both should be parallel. That type of surface we need to consider. Okay. Yes. So for that reason, imagine this is a rod, uniformly distributed charge, and around this one, if you consider a spherical surface, this distance is large compared to this distance. Are you getting? That means electric field at this point and at this point cannot be equal. Means we should not consider a spherical surface around a line charge. If a charge Q, point charge is there, then you can consider a spherical surface as Gaussian surface. Yes, it is correct. But line charge is there. You cannot consider a spherical surface because it is, see, from this end, this distance is very less, whereas this distance is very large. If distance is different, then electric field will be different. Clear? Yeah. Means you should not consider the spherical surface. Then what type of surface we should consider? Yeah. See, you consider one cylindrical surface, Nana. See these dotted lines. Equal distance R. One cylindrical surface you consider like this. Clear, students? Yes. See this cylindrical surface. This total curvature, spherical curvature is there, no? Yes. This curvature is at equal distance from this line charge. Are you getting? Yes, 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 yes. See this spherical surface, it is. Now that spherical surface, it is like this spherical surface. Clear? And from this line charge, this curved surface is at equal distances. Means electric field will be equal around this curved surfaces. And this cylinder is having a radius of small r and length of L. Imagine this cylinder is having length L. Exactly this much length only you should consider. Are you getting? But I will draw like this. Okay. Clear? Yes. Okay. This cylinder of length L and radius R. Now, what do you need to do to apply Gauss law? Yes. First point is satisfied for considering Gaussian surface. That is, electric field at each and every point on that curved surface will be equal because distance of that line charge from that curved surface is equal. Okay. Second one, what you need to see is direction of electric field and area vector. Yes. See this curved surface. See this curved surface. My fingers. This is a curved surface. And for this curved surface, area vector will be perpendicular. Yes, it is like this. And from the line charge, area vector again will go like this. Can you see my finger? Yes. Both are in parallel directions. Yes. So this is the perfect Gaussian surface to be considered for a line charge. Okay. Now see this cap, upper cap and bottom cap. Electric field lines. Imagine my body as a line charge, and from this body, electric field lines point outside radially in all directions like this. In all directions, they will go like this only, but they can't go like this. Are you understanding? Up and down electric field lines are not originating from this, starting from this line charge. They will have in radial direction like this one. Spherically, three-dimensional view imagine. Clear? Means electric field lines are passing through this curved surface only. They are not passing through this upper and bottom surface areas. Means while considering the area, you need to consider only curved surface area. Clear, students? Yes. Now use Gauss law. Surface integral, according to Gauss law, surface integral of electric field over a closed surface dot product is equal to what, Nana? 1 by epsilon naught times of charge enclosed within that surface. How much charge is there on that line charge? So whenever you consider a line charge, you need to take linear charge density lambda. This Q by L. Then Q can be written as lambda into L. Yes, this point you need to remember first. Okay? Clear? Because it is not a point charge, it is uniform distribution of charge rod. So total charge Q, how much charge is there? That is equal to linear charge density into length of the rod. This much charge is there. Okay. And as this electric field and area vector are parallel to each other, this dot product can be removed. That is, when theta is equal to 0, this can be written as E bar E into ds. Dot product is removed. Is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times of, what is Q value? Lambda into L. I'll write lambda into L. Clear? Yes. Now, as this electric field is equal at each and every point on that curved surface, you can take it out of the integration into integration of ds is equal to lambda into L by epsilon naught. Yes. So E into S. What will be the total curved surface area of this cylinder? Cylinder curved surface area. Imagine one circular part of this. This area how much? 2 pi r. And like this, how many circles should be there? Of L length circle should be there. So total area of this curved surface path of this cylinder is 2 pi r into L. Clear? Is equal to lambda into L by epsilon naught. Now this L cancel. You will get electric field E is equal to lambda divided by 2 pi r into epsilon naught. So perfectly, if you write expression, it can be written like this: lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught into r. Yes, this is the value. Okay, and this electric field magnitude is this much: lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught into r. And the direction of electric field will be from that line charge, it will be radially outward in all directions. From this electric field direction will be radially outward in all directions like this. It cannot be upward, it will be like this only, spherically in all directions. Are you getting? How much value at a distance r? Is lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught into r. One point. If, see here, if lambda is greater than 0, means lambda value is positive. Lambda means what? Q by L. Lambda means Q by L. If lambda is positive value, then electric field will be radially outward. If lambda is negative value, then electric field will be radially inward. It will be like this. Towards this line charge, it will be like this. Towards. From all sides. Clear? That means this is line charge, means electric field will be radially outward like this. For this, electric field will be radially inward like this. I hope you are understanding what I am showing you here in diagram. Clear, students? Yes. And sometimes this expression you may get somewhat differently also. Yes. What is that? See, as you know, electric field value for due to a charge, point charge is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by r square. So we write in terms of that 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. How can we write? It can be written as 2 lambda divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into r. Can we write? Yes. Multiply and divide with 2 2. It will become 2 lambda. 2 to the 4 pi epsilon naught. Yeah. As you know, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught value is key. So it can be written as 2k lambda by r. If you remember this, then also it will be good for you. A short formula. Why I am writing k here? 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught value is k. As you know, k value is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Since clear, students? Okay. Yeah. See, very simple manner we got the derivation. This is the main derivation, and you can remember this also. But if you use the principle of superposition of electric field, you need to evaluate integrations. It will be somewhat difficult for you. You may feel difficult. But if you use Gauss law, it will be very simple too. Okay, students, you need to remember these two formulas. So you need to by heart this. What will be the electric field due to a line charge at a distance r? Lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught r, or 2k lambda by r. Any one formula you need to by heart. Remember. And a small difference. See, imagine due to a point charge. Yes, this is due to line charge. Electric field is E is equal to 2k lambda divided by r. Whereas due to point charge q at a distance of r, electric field is kq by r square. Now here electric field is inversely proportional to radius distance. Here electric field is inversely proportional to square of distance. These 2 points, remember. Due to a charge q, just one charge is there. Now electric field depends upon distance like this. It is inversely proportional to square of the distance. Whereas due to a line charge, relation between electric field and distance is inversely proportional to r. Electric field is inversely proportional to r. These 2 points you need to remember. While discussing objective problem, they will be useful for you. And these 2 formulas. Got it? Yes. Next. Second application, let us see. Time, yes, time is there. Yes, it is sufficient. It is enough. Yes. Second application is electric field due to infinite sheet of charge. Imagine we are having one sheet. Yes, like this book is there, no? Yes, this sheet is there. Now on this sheet, at each and every point, charge is uniformly distributed. And due to this sheet, at any distance, what will be the electric field? This we want. Okay. So this sheet I am drawing here. Imagine this is one sheet of charges. Yes. This I am drawing like this because you need to consider it like this, perpendicular to the board. Okay. Now on this sheet, a charge q is distributed uniformly. Imagine charge q is distributed uniformly like this. Here at each and every point, uniformly charge q is distributed. Okay. Now for plane sheets, what we need to consider? Lambda, sigma, or rho. What we need to consider? Anna? For line charges means we need to consider lambda. But for plane sheets, we need to consider sigma. Clear? Let us suppose this sheet is having an area of cross section capital A. This is having area of cross section capital A, and whose surface charge density is sigma. Then sigma can be written as q upon A. As you know, surface charge density is nothing but charge per unit area. Then total charge on that surface is equal to sigma into A. Yes, this point you need to remember. How much charge is present on that sheet? Sigma into A. Sigma value they will give you, and area of this sheet also they will give you. You can find the charge on that sheet. Now due to this sheet of charges, at one particular position, at one particular distance, what will be the electric field? Let us suppose, and from this sheet at a distance of r, I want electric field at this point P. I want electric field. Okay. You can do this one by using principle of superposition also, but it will be very difficult thing because you need to evaluate So many integrations, difficult task. So better go with Gauss law again. Okay. So whenever you want to use Gauss law, what you need to do? You need to consider Gaussian surface. And while considering the Gaussian surface, 2 points you need to remember. One is at each and every point on the Gaussian surface, electric field should be equal, and area vector of Gaussian surface and electric field should be parallel to each other. By considering these 2 points, I am taking one Gaussian surface. That Gaussian surface I am taking cylindrical Gaussian surface like this. Like this one cylindrical Gaussian surface I am considering. Are you getting? Previously, I have considered cylindrical Gaussian surface along that line charge. Now, perpendicular to this sheet, this is a sheet. Perpendicular to this sheet, I am taking the cylindrical Gaussian surface, both sides. What are you getting? Clear? Yes. Electric field will be in this direction and in this direction only. As this is a sheet, and from this sheet, electric field lines will point outward like this only. They cannot go upward. Means electric field lines, they will cross these caps, these circular areas only. They cannot cross this curved surface area now. Are you getting? Now in this, for flux, we need to consider this curved surfaces. Imagine each curved surface is having total sheet area if you want. This total area A. How much width is there for this? That much area of the cylinder if you want. Then this cylindrical caps area also equal to area of the sheets. Clear? Yes. Now surface integral of E bar dot ds bar is equal to Q by epsilon naught. This is the formula according to Gauss law. Clear? Yes. Now here electric field is uniform at this distance, R distance and R distance, constant, and dot product is removed as ds bar and electric field both are in same direction. So you can write E into integration of ds is equal to Q. Q value how much charge is there on the sheet? Sigma into A. Yes, sigma into A by epsilon naught. Now, what will be the area of this curved surfaces? Total cylindrical area I want. This side area and this side area. Total how many areas? 2 areas are there. So integration of this ds will become E into 2A is equal to sigma A by epsilon naught. This A cancel. You will get electric field E is equal to sigma by 2 epsilon naught S. This is the expression for electric field due to infinite sheet of charges. And if you want direction, direction will be in the direction of n cap. N cap is nothing but a unit vector perpendicular to this area of the sheet, like this. N cap. N cap is a unit vector perpendicular to area of the sheets or along the area vector. Magnitude is sigma by 2 epsilon naught. Sigma is surface charge density of the sheet. Now in this expression, electric field in this term, electric field term, there is no value of R, means distance. That means electric field due to infinite sheet does not depends upon R. You need to remember this. Wherever you take, here